There are actually a lot of reasons why you would modify a move or why we would recommend modifying a move. Perhaps you're recovering from an injury, perhaps you haven't exercised in a long time, perhaps you have some underlying muscle imbalances and weaknesses. You'll often hear our trainers explain things like, you should feel it here and you shouldn't feel it there. So for example, something you would have heard me say quite often in my classes is, you should feel this in your core. You should feel like you're doing a gentle plank. You should not feel this in your lower back. If you start to feel this in your lower back, you need to modify the move. Another one I often say is, you should be able to maintain even breathing and you shouldn't screw up your face or grip really strong with your hands or over grip your toes. It means you're bringing in accessory muscles to do the move. That's when modifying is a good idea. We also often recommend people modify moves to decrease their intensity. For example, if you're pregnant, even from day one of your pregnancy, we suggest decreasing the intensity. So you should always be able to string a sentence together without having to stop to take a breath. Now there's lots of other examples and situations, but we really recommend you reaching out and having a chat with us one-on-one about your situation and what modifications we recommend for you. If we were doing this in real life, if you had just stepped through Say Yes doors, I would have this conversation with you in person, and our trainers would be able to see you move at your very first session. We can still do assessments and have conversations online. Reach out, we'd love to chat. For today though, I thought I'd just give 5 ways you can modify moves, and this might get you thinking about movements that you do want or need modified. All right, let's give it a look. Okay, so the first one is lowering the impact and intensity, which means removing the bounce or the jump. There's a million different ways you can do this, and we often talk you through it in our workouts. And this is something we often recommend to people that have pelvic floor weakness, postnatal, are pregnant, or have any kind of knee, ankle, hip, joint issues. Number 2 is take the pressure off your wrists. A lot of women, especially mums who are carrying bubs all day, have quite weak and sore wrists. You can take the pressure off them by doing things on all fours or resting on your forearms or even not being on your wrists at all. So take the push-up, for example. Don't do push-ups. Hop on your back in sit-up position instead. Get a pair of dumbbells and do chest press. Okay, number 3 is to separate the moves. We often do 2 moves together. You'll hear me call them hybrid moves. They're a mix of one move and another. So a lunge and a raise, or a squat and a press. To make this easier on your core and your back, separate the 2 moves. Do the lunge, then the raise, or the squat, then the press. Especially for core moves, something like dead bugs, you can do the legs and then the arms. Along the lines of this is assisting your balance. So you can use props like chairs or walls to help you balance with a move. So then you don't have to worry about balancing yourself. Or you can separate moves like what we kind of discussed in 3. And number 5 is to do moves on an incline. So instead of doing plank on the floor or push-ups on the floor, you can do it on a chair, a table, a wall. Anything that's sturdy and does not slip is the key. So there you have it, just a really quick look at 5 different ways you can modify moves. But like I said, if you have questions or concerns, if you're carrying past injuries, if you're postnatal or pregnant, please reach out to us and we will set up a time to chat with you one-on-one.